Pope Francis is topping headlines again. The pontiff said this week that an economy of exclusion and inequality kills. The Pope specifically criticized the failures of trickle-down economic theories. He also said something is wrong in our society and asked the following question: why is it not a news item when an elderly homeless person dies of exposure, but it is news when the stock market loses 2 points? Pretty bold statement there. I guess he's entitled to do so. He is, after all, the Pope. But a very interesting question on that. We've seen the stock market hit highs all week long, and here he's asking, why is it not news when an elderly person dies? Dee Dee, we'll start with you.
Why do I always feel like I'm the mean one? I have to say, I mean, I did, you know, it's a good thing I'm not Catholic because I'd probably be excommunicated. But I just don't like this. I don't like that he said that. I mean, I just don't understand why I would. Why would you associate? I don't think that the income inequality, which is basically what he's saying, is relevant. I mean, I think it's good to help poor people, but it's almost like you're punishing people who do well in business. I didn't like the message. I didn't understand it.
No. Look, you know that the top 1% own 99% of all the wealth.
Okay, yes.
That is not,
they earned it.
Look,
They
not
earned it.
always, a lot of them inherited
earned
it, but that's another point. Look, the problem with income inequality is that having a lack of money is not only a lack of being able to buy stuff at Walmart, it's a lack of having comfortable housing or good transportation or enough food to feed your
well,
family.
Say that,
or
but don't
good
criticize the
education.
people who are successful, though, which is basically what it sounds
I don't
like.
see. I don't see it that way, though. I really don't see it. I think that the Pope here is a new face, and the church needs him. The church really needs him.
Yes,
him.
Because
he's great, except for I don't get this statement of all the things.
He's making some very good points, because the church should be about helping people.
Well, let them help them, though.
And
We should all
I
help
think
people.
I think he's actually showing, as we say, using the same word again, a conflict. The church has an approach conflict here. For years, they're after making money because they're very wealthy.
Well,
but he's presenting the other side of the church.
Well, I was just going to say, he is, after all, you're right, he is making a point, and I am Catholic, but he is also sitting on top of a very large business.
Right.
Well, but he couldn't, though. Look, he just came into power. He can't turn around and say, I want all of you now to take off your red robes and start to live like I lived in Argentina in a little apartment and take public transportation. He can't do that. You know, but what he's doing is bringing this incredible message. And what he's doing is hitting onto the core, the principle of all of the social problems in the world.
Yeah, but I think
I do agree, though, with I don't think that the wealthy should be criticized.
No,
I
not
mean,
at all.
They have to trickle down the wealth, and they need to contribute.
He's saying that trickle down doesn't work.
Well, but
Reagan
he's
brought
not an
it.
economist. He's wrong. I mean, I'm sorry.
Prove to me that it's right, because 30 years ago when Reagan instituted it, nothing ever happened. It didn't trickle down, and all the people down at the bottom are still waiting for it to come.
I'm going to be real clear on this. It's nice that the Pope and everyone should help poor people, but it doesn't mean that people that are earning a lot of money should be criticized or chastised or act like they're sinners.
I wouldn't look at it as being criticized. I would look at it,
like it.
All right, well, listen. I would look at it as if the Pope has an answer to these social problems. And the answer is that it's not racism. It's not lack
No, it's like people should make
But
some
Jackie,
money.
let me finish. Economics is at the basis of the social problems. People suffer because of this wide chasm. It's not as if it's an almost even economic chasm. It's just extreme. You've got people making this much and then pow.
So what?
Yeah, but I think
What should they not sinners
hang on,
because
let's
of it?
hear
They're
from
not bad
Dr.
people
Bart.
because of it.
I want to go back to what Mia's point here is, because I think that the real issue here is that the church is worth billions of dollars, and yet he's coming out and making these statements, and it is a conflict. It's a real conflict, I think that's a great point you're
let
making.
the church give their money. That's right.
I think
He's changing it.
And I think he has to be very sensitive to both sides of this. And I think he could have done a little bit better on this. I have to agree with your counterparts here. He could have been a little better on saying what the church is going to do to help these people.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where I'm going with your point.
You don't know you don't know that he's not going to say this.
No, hang on. He raised a very good question, because we're all here talking about it. And he brought some wonderful points, and I certainly want to help the poor, but I think that he needed to come out and say, what is the church going to do to address this problem, since we are a very wealthy business?
Exactly. The political psychologist in me says, absolutely correct. It's almost like he made this a little political by commenting very nicely, I thought, but on the other hand, not going far enough at all.
Look, give the guy a break. He's only been in office
I love Pope Francis.
No,
I'm not going to say anything bad about the Pope. I'm Catholic.
I am. I didn't like the statement.
He's been around for about 6 months or so now. That's not enough time to change the world.
No. But he's made some wonderful changes, to your point, Dr. Bart. But on this particular one, I think that he needed to say what the church was going to do. Okay, we're going to stay in Italy. Andiamo. Let's go back to Italy. The Italian Senate voted Wednesday to expel former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi from Parliament after his conviction for tax fraud. Is he out of government or out of politics? Let's just go talk about this character. You know, I love a good character, right. Dr. Bart. You know, I love the mayor in Toronto.
Diagnosis here, narcissistic personality, okay? I mean, this guy, I mean, he's pushing 80 years old. He loves himself. He knows how to make a lot of money, and he's not going away. He's going to want to be the centerpiece of Italy for the rest of his life, and he'll try to do that. He is a narcissistic personality personified.
I know, but he's just so much fun. Yes, I mean, it's like so much material. But he's saying, hey, listen, I did not. He's trying to say that the tax fraud, he did not commit anything, and so he should be allowed back into government. If he's found not guilty, should he be back in? Or is he too much of a distraction?
I have to say, particularly like the part when he said, "Oh, I didn't bribe those showgirls or prostitutes or whatever. I'm just helping them out. I just gave them money to help them out."
Not only that,
that was hilarious.
And they all love him too.
Money.
And you know that Toronto mayor, I think he had a couple of friends on the female persuasion as well.
Those two guys should have their own show.
Yeah, they
should get together.
That's a great idea.
That'd be great.
You know, but there's a silver lining in all of this. We had problems last week. We said, what can we do about Rob Ford? How do you get him out of office, or should he be able to stay in office? Well, in Italy, now Berlusconi is not allowed, if he is convicted of a major crime, to serve in Parliament. And so there is an answer of what to do with these out-of-control characters in the Italian government. Maybe the rest of the world could take a lesson from that.
Yeah, they actually do. I agree with you on that one. They do it right on that, and we'll have to see what happens. But I agree to Dr. Bart's point, too. Just because he's out of government doesn't mean he's going to be out of politics. He's not going to be off the television
set. He could be a wealthy guy getting his own show, like you said.
That's right.
You never know. Selling stuff.
Or he could fund his own candidate and be a de facto politician.
But then he wouldn't be in the limelight. He wouldn't be happy.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I think he's always going to find something fun to do.
Yeah.
I don't think this guy's ever going to be a boring wallflower and go away.
Well, and that's all right, because he's giving us something to talk about.
Right,
so there we go. All right. Let's talk about, parents. Of course, they have so much to worry about, but now toys apparently are hazardous. According to a new report from the U.S. Public Research Poll, there is trouble in Toyland. The consumer group says parents are confronted again by choking hazards to chemical poisoning. And I guess the top thing on the list is the Captain America Soft Shield is the worst toy of the season, containing 29 times more lead than allowed by law. I don't even know how, when I was reading this report, I'm like, how in the world can they make a product, first of all, and get away with it, think they're going to get away with it, and put anything that harmful into a product for money to sell to children? That's bad. Yeah. I mean, I just don't know how it has happened.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, that's why we don't buy goods from China, because
Jackie, we might agree on something for once. No, I think I'm thinking it's the cheap Chinese crapola that is in Walmart. I mean, that's what I'm thinking, that it's the cheap Chinese stuff, because there I'm not so sure that the regulations are the same as they are in this country.
Right, exactly.
You know,
so that's where
when it comes to this whole thing about toys, though, what I think of is, there's a lot of lousy toys out there, and not only is the products lousy, but why aren't parents more interested in toys that make kids more inquisitive? So they say, this is what I did, or why don't they make kids more attractive to music or things that make sound and make them a better person? Some of these toys are ridiculous. They do nothing for the individual, nothing.
So you're thinking going old school, like Lincoln Logs and things you can build.
Well,
and, I think there's something to that.
No, absolutely. I think that there is something. I mean, there's a lot of toys that do that are, I can't remember the name of the actual toy maker, but are actually made to actually help the children.
Sure, there's
learn.
lots.
Make them think.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of the video games and all
Yeah.
the electronics. I think there are too many electronics for the little ones.
All right, let's just talk about our holidays very quickly. We're going to wrap up the lightning round. Did you have a nice holiday?
I had a fabulous holiday. I did. I was at my friend's house, and very small, very nice.
And what are you thankful for, Jackie?
I am thankful that all of my pets are out of every pet hospital that they've been in this year, and things are looking well for them.
And Dr. Bird, how was your holiday?
Very good. I ate too much turkey like everybody else, but I watch football games, and I guess I'm most thankful because I have balance in my life pretty much. My golf swing looks pretty good, so I'm thinking about maybe a good season coming up. So that makes me very happy.
Dee Dee?
Well, I went shopping, but before that I did TV, and it was fun. But then went to a friend's for the late Thanksgiving dinner, so that was great. And I'm very thankful that basketball season is coming to full swing.
All right, well,
As a
I am
Hoosier.
thankful that all of you came here on Fresh Outlook, and I'm thankful to have you watching us every week. That's all we have time for this week on Fresh Outlook. I'm Mia Toski. Thanks for spending an hour with us. Have a terrific week.